Think of a picture that each of us has seen many times, though fortunately not in reality, but even watching it on the screen, a person invariably feels genuine horror. We're talking about a nuclear explosion, that bright orange, ominous mushroom growing above the Earth and killing everything within a radius of several hundred kilometers. What precedes this catastrophe? Naturally, the detonation of an atomic or hydrogen bomb. Now pay attention. The question, how identical are these concepts? Are there any differences between them? Let's understand the problem right now. To put it simplistically, the atomic bomb is the ancestor of the hydrogen bomb, which is more modern and technically advanced. The main differences between them consist in the detonation process, but not only in this. In general, the theoretical comparison of these types of bombs on paper is not so impressive because the potential energy of fission of uranium-235 involved in the detonation scheme of an atomic warhead and the synthesis of lithium-6 deuteride, a necessary component of a thermonuclear explosion, differs by a factor of about 3. But in practice, it is like comparing heaven with Dante's Inferno. Let's start in order. The shape and size of the mushroom. The differences begin with visual characteristics. The explosion of both bombs is accompanied by the appearance of a recognizable cloud smoke silhouette mushroom-shaped, but this is where the similarity ends. The explosion of an atomic bomb can be recognized by its relatively modest cap and thin stalk, but in a thermonuclear bomb, the volume of the cloud and the thickness of the trunk are much more significant, and the height of the mushroom, in some cases, is simply terrifying. The difference in processes: an atomic bomb is based on nuclear fission, while a hydrogen bomb is based on fusion. In simple terms, the processes can be described roughly as follows. Fission is the splitting of the nucleus of a heavy chemical element, for example, plutonium or uranium. The charge is first detonated, after which the isotopes decay lightning fast, leading to the destruction of atomic nuclei. As a result, a monstrous amount of energy is released, and the proverbial nuclear mushroom appears. The whole process takes a fraction of a second. This chain was the basis of the action of the bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945. Remarkably, the uranium-235 used in the atomic bomb does not fully fission. For example, the Little Boy, which destroyed hundreds of thousands of Hiroshima residents, contained 60 kilograms of this element, but only 700 grams of uranium-235 underwent fission. That is, the atomic bomb has an extremely low conversion rate, only about 1%. In the sense of not saving resources, it can be compared to the outdated and unprofitable in use incandescent lamp. Its efficiency is also about 5%. By the way, the maximum possible limit of the power of the atomic bomb stops at the figure of 800,000 tons in TNT equivalent. But this is in theory. In practice, the power of 500,000 tons is already the limit of insanity. And what about the hydrogen bomb? What characterizes its work? The thermonuclear process is more complex and different from the previous one because it consists of 2 stages, fission and fusion. In fact, the hydrogen bomb includes the atomic bomb, 2 projectiles in one bottle. First, inside the hydrogen bomb, the nuclei of lithium-6 deuteride are split, instantly decaying into tritium and helium. After that, fusion comes into play. A colossal temperature of several million degrees creates conditions for the nuclei of the resulting elements to fuse with each other, which leads to a sharp heating and a powerful explosion. This releases many times more energy than the detonation of an atomic bomb. power figures, let's conduct a comparative analysis on the example of the most deadly and powerful bombs ever created by mankind. First of all, let's pay attention to the atomic bomb exploded in 1952 during the American Operation Ivy. Its power was 500,000 in TNT equivalent. Before voicing the parameters, it is worth making a small theoretical digression. How exactly do you measure the power of bombs? As a rule, the generally accepted classification is used. The killing power of an atomic bomb is measured in kilotons, and that of a hydrogen bomb in megatons. 1 kiloton corresponds to 1,000 tons in TNT equivalent. But with 1 megaton, the story is different. It is equivalent to 1,000,000 tons of TNT. You feel the difference? By and large, a thermonuclear explosion combines 2 colossal processes, and its power is theoretically limited only by the number of available components. It's time to demonstrate what these calculations look like in reality. So, meet the Mark 18 with a potential of 500 kilotons. The detonation did not involve the fusion process, so the bomb, whose dimensions were 3.2 by 1.5 meters and weight 4.5 tons, became the most powerful purely nuclear weapon first tested in 1952 at the test site of Eniwetok Atoll. The destructive effect of the bomb was similar to earlier warheads, so although the weapon was mass-produced, the Mark 18 was later abandoned. And now freeze, in front of you is the most powerful thermonuclear bomb on the planet, made in the USSR. N602, or Tsar Bomba, entered the Guinness Book of Records as the most terrifying weapon ever detonated on Earth. The tests of the monster were conducted in October 1961 by dropping it from an airplane. The Tu-95B acted as a bomber. The power of the Tsar Bomba was 59.8 megatons. Although Nikita Khrushchev initially set nuclear physicists the task of designing a hydrogen bomb with a capacity of 100 megatons. But having weighed the risks, this idea was abandoned. The testing of Product 602 was conducted at the Sukhoi Nos test site located on the Novaya Zemlya archipelago. The consequences of the explosion were so impressive that no one has managed to surpass them so far. The blast wave circled the globe 3 times. The flash was visible at a distance of 1,000 km. That is, it was clearly seen in Alaska, Greenland, and Norway, and the mushroom cloud was seen 800 km from the test site. Moreover, on Dixon Island, located 780 km from the explosion, all windows in dwellings blew out. The width of the upper tier of the mushroom was 95 km, and it rose to a height of 67 km. 40 minutes after the explosion, the atmosphere was so ionized that significant interference with radio communications was observed. But as for the radiation background, it increased insignificantly, especially when compared to the disaster brought to Japan by the bomb's little boy and fat man. Interestingly, one of the unofficial names of AN602 is Kuzkin Mother. Legend has it that Khrushchev had the Tsar Bomba in mind when he threatened the US in agitation by pounding his shoe on the podium. Summarizing the above, it is safe to say thermonuclear weapons, at the moment the most deadly and destructive of the available in the arsenal of the states of the planet Earth. Heads of some countries claim that, having impressive nuclear potential, they get the opportunity not only to effectively defend their borders from outside attacks, but also to influence political decision-making. What do you think? Is it really necessary to have a license for mass murder to achieve peace? Share your thoughts in the comments, write what topics you are interested in, and follow the updates on the channel. There are a lot of interesting things to come, but what is very important for the channel is your activity. What kind, you ask? And I'll answer you. It's your big weighty e-likes, which looks like this and is right below this video. If you can get 20,000 of those e-fingers, I'm going to release a sequel immediately. You do that, and the universe will definitely reward you.